My name is Tony Bates, and I spent over 50 years conducting research into the effective use of technology for teaching in higher education, with a particular interest in video. In video 2 in this series, we looked at using already made video in your teaching. In this video, I'm focusing on making a video yourself. The example we're going to examine in this video is from social sciences and was designed by a team of academics from Toronto, including Paula Mistrilli and Margaret Verkuyl. Their use of video takes the form of an interactive game. You can see what this looks like and how this works from this clip.
Hello. As I said at the door, my name is Ann Jones. I'm a nurse who visits families in the community. We offer many services in this community for young families. You might be interested in these.
Okay. Would you like to sit down?
Where do you choose to sit? 4 options. Remain standing. Offer to sit at the table. Ask where to sit. Offer to sit down on their couch. You have chosen offer to sit at the table.
Let's sit at the table.
Okay.
Here's my card. Oh, look at those bruises.
Who is she and what is she doing here?
How do you respond to an unexpected person? 4 options. Please choose your response.
The clip you've just seen is taken from a video-based simulation designed to help students in nursing and mental health to conduct sensitive home visits. In this video, students are put in a typical situation, then asked what decisions they should make, and then are shown the consequence of their decisions. This is a good example of a general principle or affordance of using video, that video can be used to demonstrate or assess decision-making processes or decisions in action by recording stage simulations, dramatization, or role-playing. I talked to Paula Mistrilli and Margaret Verkuyl about why and how they made these videos.
So hello, my name is Margaret Verkuyl. I'm a nurse practitioner and a nursing professor at Centennial College. And hello, I'm Paula Mistrilli, and I am a project coordinator at George Brown College in Toronto, Canada. Back in 2011, we were involved in creating a virtual online course for pediatric health assessment. And we had decided that we needed something a little more for the learners who were dispersed across our province in Ontario to be able to apply the knowledge related to pediatric assessment, because they were not necessarily working in a pediatric area. And high fidelity simulation would have been ideal, bringing everyone to the university and doing the simulation, but it wasn't practical.
Here, Paula and Margaret describe how they made this video-based game.
So that's a really good question. I had a master's student who had a mental health nursing background, and she created the first draft of the script, the objectives, the learning objectives that aligned with our health assessment course. And she created a very realistic scenario, the first draft of it, with the decision points that were important for application of knowledge. We hired actors for the main part of the script. So Irina is a paid actress and standardized participant that does simulation. But the angry man is actually a cameo appearance by a non-actor family member. The person who plays the role of the nurse or the healthcare provider is also a paid actor. And even when we were filming, we deviated from the script just slightly to identify the bruises on her arm. And the nurse wouldn't normally say what she says, oh, look at those bruises. But there was on set a need by everyone present to say, we have to find a more outward way to say it, even if it isn't the right or necessarily the best way to bring this issue forward, but we needed to put it in. So we rehearse, we revise, we get feedback, and then we revise again until we think we're ready to film. And then we don't deviate from the script much when we're there, but and we rehearsed every scene before we actually filmed it. It was 2 days of filming and about how many months of prep?
We had to have it done in 9 months because that was our grant.
I asked what the impact on student learning had been.
One of the requirements of having it in our health assessment course is that we would research it. And so we started out with doing focus groups of students wanting to see what they thought about it. And we overwhelmingly found that students found it very realistic, that they found that they could learn from it, and it was an engaging experience, one that they wanted to play more than once. And they really appreciated that when they made a mistake, they saw the consequences of their mistakes. So they were able to understand why, if something's wrong, why is it wrong? Not just know that it's wrong, but to see the consequences of mistakes. So and like I said, they would play it over. They would actually even play it in different years again, just to remind them of some of the concepts learned.
And the other element of it was that the concept to a novice learner learning nursing and assessment of asking questions around domestic violence and asking questions around intentions of suicide was a bit foreign. You know, these are very young and emerging adults, and I don't know if I could ever ask those questions in their mind, but in that particular virtual simulation, they saw it happen. They saw how easy it would be to take on a professional role and ask the questions. So the game itself actually role modeled a way of doing it and role modeled that use of silence while the woman, you know, became more and more introspective and reflective. So it was also something that made the students feel like they could do that. They could take on the role of the nurse.
Can you imagine that? My actions had consequences. I know it matters. Another one said, I was outside the virtual gaming simulation and then it sucked me in and I became part of it, right? So really putting them in the perspective of the nurse. And I really believe that's partly due to that first person
filming technique that we use.
It has a very emotional impact.
Yes.
When the man loses his temper, I jumped, you know, watching the video. Was this intentional?
Yes.
Yes. You know, one of the things that we realized, if we would ask students, oh, if you're ever in a unsafe environment, what would you do? And on a paper, they would say, I would leave. But in this case, when we ask them and they get to know Irina and they feel for Irina, they have emotions for Irina, when the angry man comes out, guess what they want to do? Stay and be the hero.
Defend her,
right? So what we do on paper is not always what we do in practice. And that's why we need application things like this for experiential learning for our students.
Then how are you using these videos in your teaching?
So we have a health assessment course that is across all 3 sites with over 500 students in that course. And we embedded it in 2016 with the condition that we actually evaluated outcomes to make sure it's really what we want. And our students are really the main drivers for it. They love playing the virtual game. It's the only assignment I give them that they will play more than once. And they will show to their friends and their family members, look at this game, look at what happened in this. What would you do? You know, so students themselves are very engaged and they actually ask us for more. We actually have increased the amount of these experiences within the course as a result of student feedback. The
Right.
other way it's being played is we made a conscious decision, and partly due to our grant also, to have it available by Creative Commons, which is an open licensing. So we have had over 280,000 plays in
Wow.
25 different countries. And remembering that one play could be a whole classroom, that it's being facilitated by the teacher as opposed to students individually playing it.
If I could pick out the most important points from the interview with Paula and Margaret, they would be: making a viable video requires many iterations of a script and testing to ensure that students will understand and engage with the video. Video-based games can elicit a strong emotional response from students, increasing their motivation and engagement. In many instances, there are opportunities for funding some of the costs of developing videos, either through internal or external funding. Perhaps the most important factor, though, is the enthusiasm and commitment of the instructors making the videos, as we've seen from Margaret and Paula. As with all of the videos we have included in this series, we hope to inspire you to increase your use of video in your teaching so your students and you can benefit. In our next video in this series, we'll look at another high-quality production, this time from the field of human anatomy. For more on the research that underlies these videos, and for more examples of video use in higher education teaching, see Chapter 8.4 of Teaching in a Digital Age. This is a free, open access, online textbook for instructors.